Alright, chat. We're gonna start this off with something you guys have been begging me to do. Okay? Let me find it. I've had so many people of this saying, please, for the love of God, watch this. And I will. It's since, like, I was planning on watching this on a Sunday because I know we're gonna need more time for this one, but since Frontier decided to waylay my plans, we will watch it tonight instead. So, what we are gonna check out first, hang on, I have to do some housekeeping. Mine's jacket. Alright, so what we are going to start off with tonight, no, we're not gonna do no, we're not gonna be doing real life Rambo. Not yet, anyway. No, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with Angry Cop. About the I guess an Economist magazine article saying stop helping disabled veterans. You guys have been, several of you have asked me to review this. And I am a cat girl of my word. So I don't have any doubt that I will rage, but
time for React. Quick chat. Let's go to Cottontail and get her to raid Ember.
No, Wolfie, I think Cotton probably just started her stream. She's not gonna raid my stream. But, am I gonna rage? Probably. Is it make for good content? Well, of course it does. Why do you think I do this? People love seeing me rage because great fucking content. So, yes. Let's see just how pissed off I'm gonna get tonight. Shall we?
Hi. I'm going to cut to the chase. The Economist put out this article, which really irritated me. Can you read that headline? American veterans now receive absurdly generous benefits.
Really?
Forgive me, I didn't know that the disability benefits that veterans got were so egregious. And
leave us not forget, how often can they actually use these benefits? Everything I've heard from the vast majority of veterans is while there may be benefits there for them, 90% of the time they can't even fucking use them. They have to jump through about 50 fucking hoops in order to be able to utilize them in the first place. And even after they do that, it's still not a guarantee that you're gonna get to utilize them. Because fuck veterans, right? Yeah, the benefits for veterans needs to be improved. It's all, the absurdly generous benefits is in theory. It's not in practice, because in practice, they're not getting fuck all. So this is all, this Economist is all in theory. And thank you, Johnny.
Just by reading this title, you can guess the ridiculous filth that is written in the article. And before I break down this ridiculous, obscene article,
Yeah, Robust Pardon, it's basically like in modern day, it's like insurance companies. They have the money to help, but they will do absolutely everything in their power not to pay it out. Which is why they have miles upon miles upon miles of red tape to go through. So that way they don't have to pay out to them. So there's a fuck ton of money for the veterans, but very few actually see it.
Let me just tell you the line it finishes with so you can better understand the journey we're about to take together.
Oh boy.
A lesson in learning, if you will. And I quote, America's veteran obsession has gone too far.
Fuck me, this is gonna be a long video. Okay, I want to know who wrote this article, because I want to pull up their fucking Twitter. Because I have a suspicion. I have a suspicion. I know what I will find. Feed that handy. I think we're gonna need it. Oh, I know he'll show who 504. I know he will.
Yes! The disability payments you get from getting blown up overseas is now an obsession that has
good,
gone,
yard dog.
far too far in the eyes of this author. And we'll talk about him a little bit too. But before I blow your mind with some of the most insensitive, obscene, out of his own depth verbiage, literature, articles, dogs, that is in this article. First, a word from this video's sponsor. I'm sure you're all aware that mainstream media has a fairly liberal or right-leaning bias, depending on who you watch. And that fills our heads with inaccurate portrayals of like the military or policing. Alright,
I will do this until he's finished with the ads. But, yeah, they not only are we gonna be here, I'm probably gonna yap my ass off on this one because, holy shit, I'm gonna get pissed. Because I can already tell the big chunk of the article is gonna be talking about how people are I'm guessing he's gonna bring up YouTubers, particularly those all the unsub guys, lauding the praises for the veterans and how they're supposed to be treated properly. He's probably gonna be bringing that up, which, I'm sorry, what's the problem with that? What's the problem with lauding veterans for the service? What's the problem with holding them on a pedestal because they were severely injured and disabled in the course of their work? Oh god, I thought he was back on the story. You know what, brethren? You're right. Hang on a second. Hang on. Okay. I have alcohol. I'm better prepared now. He's not gonna mention Brandon's Purple Heart, my dad. But I'm sure he's gonna mention actual Purple Hearts.
Welcome back to this episode of Angry Cops, Schools, and Idiots. Just
By the way,
so
chat, how's the volume? Can you hear okay?
I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to read portions of this article, and then I'm going to describe how absolute batshit crazy it is.
Good.
And try not to have my tiny pea brain explode from fury as I go through it with you.
Oh no. Give in to your anger. I plan on it.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
Good. Now, the first paragraph of this article talks about how Donald Trump is going to be president.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business.
And now he has a large following and is very supportive of the United States military. Okay, so far so good. It goes on to say that with Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk running DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, there could be a little bit of a butting of heads here, considering that the Department of Veteran Affairs is a significant portion of the budget. Huh. I wonder why the Department of Veteran Affairs takes up a significant portion of the budget. Let's hear from our author. The department's budget has surged over the past 2 decades, rising from $86 billion in today's dollars, then equivalent to 2.6% of the federal budget, in 2000 to $336 billion, 5% of today's budget this year.
Would that possibly be because we have more disabled veterans in the last 2 decades? When a veteran becomes... So apparently... no, I'm not letting him cook, Kaibo. I'm jumping on this with both feet. I'm jumping all over this thing, claws out. Because what this author apparently does not fucking understand with reality is when a veteran is injured/disabled in combat. This is not just like a video game character where it's a one-off and done, and you can forget about it. These veterans still live for many decades post their injury recovery, or as recovered as they can make it. And as we continue with more conflicts, and as we send soldiers into wars, that number of disabled veterans increases and adds on to the existing number of veterans who already require care. I should not have to tell someone from the fucking Economist how basic economics works. If you take Veteran Disabled Fund of, what do you say, it was 86 billion in funding for the veterans, and then you add on to it how many thousands more veterans that have become disabled in those 2 decades, you now have to add their care on top of the existing care that is still ongoing. Thus, you see a rise to 336 billion when you're sending more soldiers into war zones and they're getting blown the fuck up. This is basic fucking math.
Being 2024. Let me just try and figure something out here. 2020, numbers are down. After 2020, numbers are up. Did somebody forget that 9/11 happened? This guy forgot to say that, during the past 20 years, it's been 20 straight years of combat. Whether you were in Afghanistan or if you were in Iraq, like some of us. But of course, this gentleman, I use that term loosely, doesn't say that the United States has been at war for 20 years, making its active component, reserve component, and National Guard component all...
Don't argue logic with Fools Cheer 100.
I can't help it, it's instinctive.
...deploy across the world. It now receives almost 3 times as much as the Department of Transportation. Remarkably, this boom has occurred despite a nearly 1/3 decline in the veteran population, which has fallen from 26 million to 18 million. Annual spending per veteran, as a consequence, has risen 6-fold. There could be a reason for that, and let me just give you my 2 cents.
I'm going to put my 2 cents in first. There's this thing called inflation. Okay? In case no one's told the economists, prices on fucking everything have skyrocketed in the last 20 fucking years. A piece of equipment that a disabled veteran needs might have cost, I'm gonna throw out a bullshit number here, $50. 20 years ago, that same piece of equipment bought today is probably $200+. Cause inflation's a bitch. And so with PTSD, Eki, yes.
Okay? You remember World War II when every able-bodied American in the country was going to war for 3 or 4 or 5 years? I'm blanking on how long. 41 to 45, if I'm not mistaken? And then after that, we've got Korea, and then Vietnam, which ended in 75. Let's just talk about those 3 wars real quick, all right? Everybody from those wars is dying.
Who the starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
We've got like nobody left from World War II. And once again, World War II was the entire country going to war, right? And now every single one of those guys, that massive population, is almost gone completely. Sad to say. Many of that generation fighting in Korea, and then, of course, the draft for Vietnam. So the last major conflict, I'm leaving out the Gulf War at the moment, from 1975 until now have all been slowly passing away. Unfortunately,
this is true.
But hey, that's the way the world is. We can't live forever. So with these massive...
I don't know, chat. I think I'm going to live forever. I will stream until the end of time and the sun explodes. Would you like that?
of volumes of troops that served overseas in the past now dwindling down, yeah, of course those numbers are going to go down. And guess what? Although there might be less of us serving overseas, it's for 20 years. And get ready for this. There's no frontline war. Afghanistan and Iraq, there were no front lines. Everybody was getting blown up. So instead of just having World War II, Korea, and Vietnam guys having like a, hey, here's a line, we need to push for that line, everything behind that line, it's pretty chill. You want to have a beer on the weekend? No, not in Iraq and Afghanistan. Every truck driver,
everybody was in the thick of it.
Person that was filling up and trying to distribute it across wherever was getting blown up. An IED just says to whom it may concern. It's not looking for frontline infantry. So everybody's getting mortared.
I mean, fucking Afghanistan and Iraq was more of a guerrilla war than a traditional war. That's the crux of it. There was no, like, war rules like before.
Not cheer 100. If we would stop starting war to fund the elite political on both sides, it would be not as big.
Duran, we're not even going that route. We're here to talk about the veterans. And that's what we're here to talk about. This is about the veterans being treated as they should be treated. What I was going to say is, what I'm curious about, if he's going to touch on, is the VA. What is being defined here as a disabled veteran? That is my question, because I believe there are many veterans who may not necessarily be quote-unquote disabled, but are still requiring assistance from the VA because of issues such as PTSD and things, so they're not necessarily quote-unquote disabled, but they are still needing assistance from the VA with, like, mental health issues and such. So he may or may not touch upon that. The article may or may not touch upon that. But that's something I'm curious how they have defined by this.
Everybody's getting blown up. Everybody's next to burn pits. We'll talk about that later. So what I'm trying to get at is a larger portion of the population that received benefits from those
As far as I'm concerned, vets should be able to get any treatment they need, from any medical facility they want.
Yes.
And anyone who spent the full 20 years in the service would never have to pay taxes ever again for as long as they live. Cheer 100.
I'm not sure about that last part. Maybe I won't say yes or no on that one. But on the never pay for any medical for the rest of their life, yes, that I wholly agree with.
Previous wars are now passing away. And a smaller portion has come in their stead during Iraq and Afghanistan, but a large population of that swell of people have been affected by the combat since there's no front lines. Different wars. Plus, you know what else could have caused that? The fact that not as many people are dying and that more of the injured are surviving, which most people would say is a good thing, right? Far less dead, but far more wounded, which is a better trade-off than far more dead and far less wounded. Do you know what I'm saying? So we're trading the massive amount of deaths for good combat casualty care and those surviving later on, although wounded or maybe permanently afflicted by their wounds. So two things. Large population in the past, passing away, no longer receiving benefits. Less veterans, however, more affected by combat because of one, the length, and two, the fact that there's no front lines, it's everywhere. Then we've got, hey, back then, you got shot, you could die of sepsis. Amputation isn't as clean as it is now, but trading that in for now where everybody's getting shot, everybody's getting blown up, but so many more people are surviving, far less combat deaths. Let's continue. Between 2000 and 2004, such payments ballooned from $26 billion in today's prices to $159 billion. Last year alone saw a 17% jump. Once again, we're talking about pre-9/11 to post-9/11. The only war we had for like the past 30 years was the 4-day long Operation Desert Storm, Desert Shield, Desert Saber They're all put together in Desert Storm. Desert Saber was when we went in there with Stormy Norman Schwarzkopf and took over Iraq on the ground in 4 days. So anyway, from the end of Vietnam to 2000, right? Obviously, low numbers. But then 20-year war, hello, where active guard and component are all together fighting overseas.
But again, and I may be beating a dead horse here, he may bring this up. It's also 20 years of inflation. It's 20 years of these companies that provide this equipment for disabled veterans at insanely marked up fucking prices. You know, who remembers that congressional hearing where one congressperson, I forget who it was, I don't fucking care who it was, but it was a guy that was kind of based on this. He showcased how for military defense contractors were charging like $1,000 fucking dollars or something for like a bag of washers. That same fucking bullshit mentality applies for equipment and treatment that goes to veterans. You don't think these companies aren't marking that shit up to skyrocketed prices? Of course they are. And so, of course, that means, and the government's footing the bill, so that means the government's gonna be paying more because they're just like, defense contractor, cool, we want to maintain this contract, we're gonna spend whatever we want. That's a big fucking factor there. Why isn't this author looking at those companies saying, hey, how come a prosthetic leg that normally would cost, throw out a number, $500, how come you're charging the U.S. government $10,000 for that prosthetic leg when it only costs $500 in the civilian market? I wonder if that author is going to ask that question. I think I might know the answer, though.
You sign up, you're going. Yeah, we're probably going to see a bump up in disability pensions. From 1960 to 2000, roughly 9% of veterans qualified for payments, typically for ailments such as hearing loss or burns. Once again, 1960 to 2000. The only things that happened in between there were Vietnam and the Gulf War. Both much shorter than the 20 years that we had and weren't. Active component, guard, and reserve all activated for those 20 years.
And I'll back it up slightly so we kick back on that. Desert Storm was more of a conflict than a war. Vietnam, yes, Vietnam was a hellscape for those in the military that were in Vietnam. Absolutely, was a hellscape. Desert Storm was a conflict where the U.S., because they were let off the fucking chain, steamrolled the enemy in Desert Storm. Desert Storm was extremely short and far fewer casualties because the U.S. just completely dominated their opponent. Big fucking difference between that and post 9/11. Big fucking difference.
Active component, guard, and reserve all activated for those 20 years, deploying constantly, consistently, rotation after rotation after rotation. The department assigns a rating from 0 to 100% based on the severity of disabilities. In 2000, the average rating was 30%. Monthly payments averaged to the equivalent of $975 today. Few qualified for the top tier. Once again, 9%. Prior to 9/11, 30 years where the only wars were Vietnam and the Gulf War, a 4-day war. And then you compare that to the 20 years. This is going to be something that keeps popping up. He keeps trying to say, before 2000, we weren't paying nothing. And then now, all of a sudden, the past 20 years, geez, it's just the fiscal irresponsibility of these veterans getting hurt. We're just a bunch of clumsy veterans falling into bullets. The modern program bears little resemblance to its original form. This year, 6 million veterans, or a third of the total, qualified for payments with an average monthly benefit of $2,200. Veterans may file claims for an unlimited number of disabilities and repeal against decisions as often as they wish. The average rating has climbed above 60%, and 1 in 4 disabled veterans now receives the once rare 100% rating. Here's where his arrogance comes through. Such a designation ensures a generous $4,000 monthly payment for life, with no conditions attached.
Gee, a veteran in service to your fucking nation sworn oath to defend your freedoms to save this stupid bullshit became injured and disabled in defense of those ideals. Again, so your dumbass could write all of this shit, and you're gonna have a problem with them taking a monthly stipend for life because they became disabled for that? Okay. I'm gonna say something at the end of his
This
article.
man thinks that being well paid for safeguarding him is bad. I'm going to need the heavy bolter for this heresy.
I'll load the ammo, Leo. No, I've got something cooking in my head right now that I'm gonna say at the end of this article if this continues the way it does. But I'm gonna let it cook.
Starting at the age of 25, a former soldier could earn well over $2 million in present value terms. Let's break down those numbers, shall we? Numbers, we're gonna have numbers pop up here.
Come on. Do math.
$4,000 a month for 100% disability, all right? We're gonna go for the max. Bing! That's $48,000 a year. You wanna know what the average median income is for a person in the United States? Single family? 41,000. Oh, making just above average. Okay. What about the household?
For becoming disabled in service for your country? That's a fair exchange.
Bing! 80,000. Huh. Little bit more than half of what a median household gets in America. Interesting. Do you want to know how much one singular Hellfire missile costs? Bing! $150,000. Let me tell you, we fired a lot of those.
Actually, I don't know if he's gonna do this math. I want to do some math here. I want to do some quick maths. All right, hang on. All right. I don't. Let me see if I can actually get this on screen. Hang on a second. Hang on. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Now, quick maths. So, he said the average veteran will get about $4,000 a month, right? Average 25-year-old veteran gets he said that at 100%, again, we're going 100%, he get $4,000 per month. Okay? So, times that by 12. Again, we get 48,000 a year. Now, what do you figure the average lifespan of a soldier is at this point? We'll be generous and we'll say that, he's received the care that he or she has received the care that they need and is able to live a long, healthy life. So let's average. Actually, I was going to be generous and say 85. I was going to be generous and say 80. I was going to say 85. To be generous. Okay, we'll be generous on this. Okay. So times this by 85. So that'll be 4 million over the course. Wait, sorry, I mathed wrong. I mathed wrong in that. Sorry. I hang on. 85. Okay. So 2.8 million for over the course of 60 years. That's what this author is bitching about, that over the course of 60 years, the veteran would earn $2.8 million. That's this author's issue. Why? Why does he have a problem with a veteran earning that over 60 years? All right. And yeah, we'll go under. So we'll take off. We'll do 40. 1.9 million, under 2 million. if this veteran lives until like 60. Again, what is the problem? This is not like it's not like that these veterans are going to be turning into millionaires in the course of 1 year from being on disabled benefits. This author said like, oh, the average veteran's gonna earn $2 million. After 40 or 60 fucking years? Yes! Because that's how basic economics works in the workplace. Because you know what? It's not like he's taking that 4,000 and squirreling it away and hiding it in a bank account. He's using that money to live. He'll be buying shit. He'll be paying rent. He'll be paying utilities. He'll be buying food. Like, does this economist, and again, I use this term extremely loosely, not understand how fucking reality works? Because I'm thinking they don't right now. I'm thinking this author for The Economist doesn't even know how basic fucking economics works.
Just in November of 2001, when Afghanistan was just starting, the CIA fired 40 from a drone. Just zoom, 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 zoom. Hey, there's a target. Zoom. Hey, there's a target. Zoom. Just like that. $6 million. Bam. Done. Gone. And
Look
that
how
was
they
in
gladly.
a month
He probably
of
does.
just CIA guys. And
Butt slap. Thank you for the follow.
Delta, Rangers, and Special Forces cats in Afghanistan. That's not counting when we actually had normal line units and support elements there. So in 30 days, before troops were really in Afghanistan, we fired 40 of them. Now just imagine how those numbers might go up, especially after we got into Iraq. But let's backtrack a little bit. Let's look at the wording for in this paragraph real quick. Veterans may file claims for an unlimited number of disabilities. Oh no! We can file claims for all of that affected us overseas. Not only
Yeah! For shame! It's not like actual American insurance companies where they're gonna put a fucking cap on what you can actually file for. The government's actually gonna pay for the injuries and mental, the mental disruption that you've received serving your country. All of this humanity. I'll bet you anything this dumbass fucking author thinks that veteran disability payments should be treated like your average American insurance company, which is kind of all you need to know about that kind of thinking. I mean, but slightly. Okay, I've got something cooking for this author when the article is finished, but I'm letting it cook. I'm gonna let it cook because I'm just gonna let this guy dig himself even deeper.
limited amount. Oh, sorry, did you lose your leg on a Friday? No, that's no good here. Not in America. Doesn't matter which day you lose your leg. Unlimited numbers of disabilities. Like, that's a bad thing. Yeah, man. If something bad happened to me and I can prove
Duran,
it
absolutely not, he
overseas and it disabled me, it created some sort of issue where I'll never be able to get back to 100% again, yeah, I think I should be able to claim that. How dare the injured demand compensation? Why has this happened?
Not simply the injured. The injured who received said injury in service to the country. That's a key point of note here. This is not just someone who received injury wanting compensation. This is someone who received injury in service to the nation that they swore an oath to defend and protect. That is a key fucking factor on this one.
2001, the department began to broaden its list of presumptive conditions, where officials automatically assume the problem is service-related to include ailments such as type 2 diabetes, allowing any veteran with the disease to qualify for compensation. Okay, some fakers in there. I think I got affected by a burn pit. Well, okay, Navy guy, how did you get affected by a burn pit? You were on a ship. Well, I passed through this area and there's verbiage stating that if you served in this area, you could be affected by burn pits. So I was affected by a burn pit. Oh, this guy's playing the system. Yeah, there's that. There are those people out there, but let's not pretend like that's the major issue as to why people are claiming their disability benefits. And the reason I know that this author doesn't give about veterans or whether or not they deserve it.
Leo, I'm gonna hazard a guess and say you're not gonna see any mention in the article about the war since 9/11, because the author's points only make sense to them, and they can only make their incredibly stupid and unthought out argument and make it make sense to the foolish truds. No, actually, no. That's that's incorrect word. Basically, to the mindless hordes that read The Economist to make themselves think to basically think that they're smart. He's not going to mention that because the second he brings up the war starting from 9/11, all of his logic that he's presented so far goes out the fucking window. If he brings up any facts regarding Iraq and Afghanistan and the statistics behind them, every single one of his bullshit talking points to say that veterans should not receive money goes out the fucking window, and even the dumbest of his readers are gonna go, this doesn't make sense.
Or don't is this next line here. The reasoning for such expansion is not always robust. For instance, a department-funded study found only limited evidence linking herbicide exposure in Vietnam to type 2 diabetes. I'm gonna say that again. Limited evidence linking herbicide exposure in Vietnam. He's
my point. He's still fucking harping on Vietnam, when his supposed point is about how the budget for veterans has ballooned since Vietnam. Like 30 fucking years after Vietnam. Like, okay, take the concept of Agent Orange aside, okay? Put it aside, the point of, all that, the veterans that were affected by Agent Orange. Putting that aside, I'm not, yeah. We're gonna put that aside. He's still harping on fucking Vietnam. Again, when the beginning statement of his article is that the ballooning occurred after 2000. But he's still harping on fucking Vietnam, and even that, he's getting fucking wrong. This man is literally right now the epitome of everything you just said is wrong. And I need Shadow? Maybe.
talking about Agent Orange. Agent Orange took years for the VA, the United States government, to finally say, oh, yeah, I guess that thing that took all the foliage off of trees, ripped all the hair off of your legs, gave you boils and I guess maybe that's our bad and we might have to pay you for it now. Oh, cancer's...
Yeah, Yard Dog, I guarantee you, the author of this article, and he said he's going to get into this later, I guarantee you the author of this fucking article is probably a 20 or 30-something-year-old who is maybe in diapers during Vietnam. If that. Actually, no, actually, he's probably 23 years old, so he wasn't even a glimmer in his daddy's eye when the Vietnam War was happening. This is modern American privilege. It's wealthy privilege looking down at those who don't have the same privilege and saying you guys shouldn't be getting as much because you might actually make as much money as I do, and we can't have that. Shadow, I'm not prepared to say that this is commie simpness yet, because I'm letting it cook. Right now, all he's doing is he's talking about how, the money spent, and he's doing it incorrectly. He has not yet said anything like, well, this money would have been better spent going here. So I'm not yet prepared to go with that label. But again, I'm letting him cook. We'll see what comes about it.
Two? Jeez, what are you just gonna claim unlimited things for your benefits? This to quit. You know what? I haven't done it in a while. Communism! Communism! Communism!
I'm sorry, are you trying to downplay Agent Orange by referring to it as an herbicide and hoping nobody's going to catch on to what you're actually doing? Like, don't get me wrong, I know what you're going to say. You're going to be like, oh, well, technically it is in fact an herbicide. Yeah, I get it. Also, technically, you could refer to the atomic bomb as a f***ing space heater and then claim that Japan is really upset and they lost the war because they had a brief temperature increase in 1945, but you'd be a dishonest if that's what you did, right? Okay, newsflash, Agent Orange isn't just an herbicide. It's also extremely toxic to humans, and those toxins stay in your body for the rest of your life, okay? It's linked to like 9 different types of cancer. It causes Parkinson's disease, hormonal imbalances, infertility, and then if you are lucky enough to have kids, they're at a much greater risk of having birth defects. Saying that a veteran that was exposed to Agent Orange doesn't deserve his disability benefits and then playing it off like he's a complaining that he got Roundup on his pants is one of the most disingenuous things I've ever heard of a journalist or a publication doing ever, and that's a pretty high bar. Seriously, I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about burn pits. I'm sure it's something along the lines of, oh, veterans got to sit around a campfire and roast marshmallows, and now they're complaining about headaches and think that they should get disability for the rest of their lives. It has nothing to do with all of the fun cancer.
Thank you, Nicholas. I needed a break. Felt like I was taking
Crazy pills!
In 2022, President Joe Biden's packed.
Yes. Yes, Braga, that is precisely what it is. You summon Nick by saying communism 3 times. Go ahead, give it a try in chat. Let's see if he... Okay. Alright, I'm gonna try this. Chat? I'm gonna try this. And I'm not sure, noob. I may have to look into that. But, we're gonna try this. I can't remember if you guys gave him a sub or not, but we're gonna try this and see if it works, chat. Are we ready? Are we ready? Ahem. Communism, communism, communism. Is he here? Did it work? Nick, are you here? Nick? Are you here? Fuck. I guess I don't have the power. Sorry, chat. I tried.
Act expanded eligibility further with illnesses such as asthma and chronic I don't even know how to say that word.
Rhinitis.
Gaining approval as some soldiers had picked up conditions from quote-unquote burn pits in Afghanistan and Iraq. Yes! Burn pit exposure is kind of a big deal. You want to know why? Because it...
Alright. Full disclosure, chat. I am unfamiliar with burn pits, okay? I know that Anger Cops is going to explain that, so you guys don't need to start adding me in the chat or anything about it. I know he's going to explain to it. I do not know anything about this. So, I'm waiting to be educated. And I'm sure Anger Cops is going to educate me on this.
In Iraq. Yes! Burn pit exposure is kind of a big deal. You want to know why? Because it gave people a whole bunch of disgusting, freaky-ish little cancers and stuff because of all the crap that we were burning. Human crap, diesel fuel, all the freaking spent rounds and some sort of, radioactive material that we came upon. Ugh! I've said it once, I'll say it again. Burn pits are our Agent Orange. Yeah, it's not raining down from the sky on us from...
Okay. So... burn pits was just basically giant trash fires with all kinds of really nasty shit in it that when you burn it, it's releasing toxins into the air. Okay, it's very simple, very concise. That'll fuck you up. Okay, yeah, every thing under the sun that was trash, you burned, and there was some very nasty shit that is in trash. Yeah. And yeah, and you're in line with the smoke, and you're breathing it in. Yeah, that's perfect sense why that would basically be the modern day Agent Orange.
jet planes that we're doing to ourselves, but we're doing it to ourselves by burning a bunch of this because it's the only way to get rid of it. And now we're all just breathing in all the toxic fumes. One of the burn pits on the post that I used to be on in northern Iraq called Kirkuk Air Base was bigger than a football field. Can't wait to see how that affected me. Once on the payroll, veterans usually remain beneficiaries for life. The stigma around collecting payments has faded in recent decades. I mean, that's a good thing. We shouldn't have a negative stigma for being injured and then requesting assistance for that injury that we sustained overseas in combat. Why does he make this seem like it's a dirty thing? Oh, they're not ashamed of it anymore, so now they're all going for the thing that they deserve. Gross. It's common for veterans to start on the program at 50% disability rating for, say, sleep apnea linked to service stress, only to then add more disabilities and have the rating increase to 100% within a few years.
Oh my god. This author is insinuating basically what's tantamount to veterans are Munchausen patients. That's what this reads to me of what this person's mentality is at. That they start at 50%, but then magically they're coming up with more disabilities. He's basically saying veterans are quasi-Munchausen patients that are trying to get money from the government. Go fuck yourself, dude. Seriously, go fuck yourself with a bad dragon wrapped in barbed wire, soaked in ghost pepper hot sauce. These are veterans who a lot of this shit does not present itself immediately, especially if it's chemically related. Look at Agent Orange. That shit took years to figure out before they realized, oh shit, you don't think the same things happen in here with, like, the burn pits? Or that you can sustain an injury that over time gets more complicated or worse? Like, again, this is not a fucking video game. Where it's like, okay, one injury, static. You will never have another injury again. Nothing can possibly develop as a result of this injury. No, reality doesn't work like that.
Woo, that's dark but fitting. Cheer 100.
Graham Wolf, I was going light. That was lightweight for me. But I'm trying to keep it clean for Twitch and YouTube. So, you know. Yeah, so that's... Clearly, this guy doesn't even have a first grader's understanding of how boo-boos work. They get worse. Injuries can get worse over time, depending upon the injury.
Years. I like how he says only to add more disabilities. Listen, dickhead, a lot of veterans, including myself, go in with the that we know we can prove. Boom! Just get the process started. Hey, here's your percentage of disability. There it is. You want to add more on later? Totally fine. We've got you in the system for at least the bare bones stuff that you need. Let's move on.
By the way, I'm also going to put in, based on him writing this, he also seems to think that a veteran can just walk into a VA, say, I'm afflicted with X, Y, or Z, and they're just going to blanket go, cool. Write it down. We'll mark you down for that. You have that now. He's not good. He's conveniently forgetting about that. If a veteran goes in and says, "Hey, I think I'm afflicted with X, Y, or Z," the veteran gets fucking tested for it. It's not just an honor system. You actually receive tests to confirm. It's not fucking house where the doctors
We
can
have
look
ruled
at
that
you
your
and go,
disability wasn't service related.
Oh, I'm not even gonna get into that, Seb. Yeah, it's not like these doctors, whatever, just like look at them in the waiting room, go, yeah, you're fine. Or, yeah, you've got that. We'll mark you down for it. There is a fucking process for this, which he seems to be very conveniently forgetting.
It's a program that helps a lot of people who deserve it, but getting on the program becomes an escalator to higher disability ratings and compensation, says Mark Dugan of Stanford University. Once you qualify, you have an incentive not to get...
What? Fucking what? This? Hang on. I need to do research. Sorry, chat. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. This is Mark Dugan. This is the man that just said it's a program that helps a lot of people deserve it, but getting on the program becomes an escalator to higher disability ratings and compensation. Once you qualify, you have an incentive not to get better. That's this guy. Let's see. Hang on. Focuses on the healthcare sector and also the effects of government expenditure programs such as Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, behavior, individual firms. Some of his most recent research.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Yeah. So, this guy...
Cheer 100. Did he just equate physical and mental anguish to people on workers' comp?
Basically, Gorfdor. Yeah. It's, you know, once you qualify, by the way, his statement is completely disingenuous as well. Once you qualify, to qualify for this, you actually need to receive tests. Those tests determine if you qualify, so you actually need the treatment. If you qualify for veterans benefits, it means you actually need them because you're tested for them.
Cheer 100. Wait, I think I know what he wants. He doesn't want to give money to those whom he believes aren't working.
No, he just thinks that veterans are a lower life form. They're not educated like him. They don't have a degree like him. They're not a chair of an organization at Stanford like him. Seriously, an incentive not to get better. Motherfucker, these disabilities don't go away. If you qualify for having a disability, this fucking disability does not go away. It is with you for fucking life. In what fucking reality do you live in that you think that if you have a disability, it just magically goes away, but you pretend it stays there so you keep getting government money? Please tell me what fucking reality this is. 'Cause it's not the one that we exist in.
Better. First of all, it's not an escalator. You have a disability and it qualifies or it doesn't. You get in there just so you can get your rating, and then you go, oh, thank God, I've got my rating. By the way, here's some shit that's probably gonna need some more paperwork that I have to prove for. It's gonna take a little while.
Yeah.
We'll get that going, but eventually I'll get the rating I deserve. It's not cheating the system if you're getting compensation for the injuries you sustained, you morons. You have an incentive not to get better. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know once you get disability, you have an incentive not to get better. How do you get better from missing a leg? How do you get better from PTSD? You think that just because I went to therapy, real talk for a second, you think that just because I went to therapy for a couple years and like was able to iron some shit out, that I still don't freak the out when a truck comes really, really close to me and like is still well within its lane, but I'm just like, I don't like being next to a car. Because I drove in Iraq for years and I don't car bombs. Yeah, my $100 a month is really preventing me from wanting to get rid of that. How do you incentivize an amputee to get better? Are we in the Hulk? Is that what this is? We got like that cool serum and
Netta! Okay, Anger Caps, I'm sorry, I've got to correct you on this. It's not the Hulk, it's the Lizard. That's the one who was the amputee arm, and he was trying to regrow his arm. That's the lizard. It's not the Hulk. Wrong Marvel character. Sorry, as a comic book nerd, I have to do the correction. I still love you though. And Austin, thank you for the follow.
That he uses in the first Hulk. I liked the first Hulk better. Not gonna lie. How do you grow brain cells back from a TBI? How do you grow limbs back? How do you grow tendons back in my foot that got ripped off and now it just ain't there no more? How do I grow that back? Well, you're just gonna screw some rubber bands in there? That's my incentive? It's unclear if the spending is even benefiting veterans. Oh my God. Let me tell you something, all right? A veteran might have a disability rating and be injured for the rest of their life or have some sort of disability that follows them for the rest of their life. But you know what's kind of nice? It's the government to say, hey, sorry, that sucks. Hey, but you don't have to worry about your house payment anymore or a car payment because here's a little bit of compensation for the we had to put you through. Which, by the way, you had no choice because when you sign up to serve, you go where we tell you to go. It's unclear if giving veterans more money is even effective. That's the most retarded ever. It's like going up to a kid on...
And by the way...
What Mark Durden wants. Even if you have served, no doctor may mark your injury as service-related. Leave all veterans to rot. See how fast the military freaking riots.
Well, and okay, let me play this line again.
More money is even effective. That's...
I need to go on a very enthusiastic walk.
The most retarded ever. It's like going up to a kid on his birthday and being like, hey, listen, the past like 3 years, I keep giving you more money in your birthday card, but you just seem to be happy as just like on the same level. You've plateaued in happiness, so I'm gonna cut your money and see if that makes you more happy.
Okay, he didn't say it, but I was gonna say it. What about those military veterans, particularly from Vietnam? He's very conveniently forgetting about this. The author, I mean. He's very conveniently forgetting about how many Vietnam veterans that came back and had invisible disabilities, i.e. the PTSD, that they couldn't get help for. How many of them self-deleted because they couldn't get the help they need? How many of them ended up being homeless? Remember when the homeless veterans was a big fucking deal once upon a time? We seem to have forgotten about that, haven't we? And this fucker is saying we don't know if veterans if helping veterans out with disability payments like this even helps them. Really? I can think of more than a few that if they actually got that disability help, they wouldn't still be alive, or they wouldn't be homeless. No, it is still a big deal. I'm saying, like, the public mindset, it doesn't seem to be as big of a deal as it once was. For about 5 seconds in the last 20 years, there was a big deal made about the homeless veterans, there was a big old campaign, and then it was very quickly forgotten again, unfortunately. But that's the point I was making, where this guy's saying, we don't know if it even helps them. When you don't give it to them, they end up either self-deleting or they end up on the fucking streets. And that's their thanks for serving the country. And you're gonna say we don't know if it helps them. Please kindly go fuck yourself with the aforementioned bad dragon that I'm going to add shit to. Okay? Dip it in shit along with the ghost pepper hot sauce.
Research by Mr. Dugan and co-authors finds that disability compensation has reduced employment, with 1 in 5 new recipients leaving the workforce after a change in 2001. Oh, yeah, you know, maybe the people that got, I don't know, TBI or don't like crowds or got their legs blown off don't want to be walking around the Walmart all day. Maybe life is uncomfortable for them and they can't work. A study in 2002 by a bunch of freaking retards found that extra compensation...
Wait, I want to see what it was before he blacked it out. Oh shit, I think I went the wrong direction there. Alright, a study by David Silver, then of Princeton, and Jonathan Zhang, then of Macalester University. So those are the frickin' retards he's talking about. And yeah, this, like, not all disability, just because you have a disability, you know, having a disability very likely means you may not be able to work. I'm not going to call anybody, and not like, quote unquote, call anybody out in chat, but I do know that there are people that are part of my community, that are part of my chat, that are afflicted by disabilities. Feel free to speak up if you want to or not when I pose this question, because it is a rhetoric question. You don't need to answer if you don't want. You can't fucking work because of your disability through no fault of your own. There's no, this is not a fault of your own. This is not you choosing to, I don't want to work because fuck the system. I want to get paid instead. This is literally, you can't work because your disability prevents you from doing it, no matter how much you hope and dream for it. It's the same fucking thing here. This is not a veteran trying to get... Veterans are not trying to game the system. And that's what this dumb fuck author is trying to say. He's blanket statementing, saying that veterans, writ large, are just trying to game the fucking system. And he is wrong on every conceivable fucking level you can think of. And we're here to call him out for it, just like Angry Cops is.
A study in 2002 by a bunch of frickin' retards found that extra compensation had failed to boost veterans' mental and physical health. Indeed.
For the best. Yes, indeed.
Suicide rates have increased relative to comparable non-veterans.
And unfortunately, this happened. Extra compensation has failed to boost veterans' mental and physical health. Does this fuckstick know how recovery works? I don't think he understands what recovery and the healing process, how the recovery and healing process works.
I just want to talk. Just talk, nothing more. Only a little talk.
Down, boy. Extra compensation means that they can start receiving the help that they need. And the help that they receive can very often take fucking years. Again, this is not a fucking video game where you click the button and say, okay, administer health, and all of a sudden, I'm better now. No, it doesn't fucking work this way. This is real fucking life. Gorthor, boost in this context is just his way of saying, I'm right, you're wrong, nanny. That's what it needs. Because he doesn't fucking understand what recovery actually means.
We're comparing non-veterans and veterans' suicide rates. So guys that have seen the horrors of war to not, and we're going like, oh, these guys seem to kill themselves more. We better take their money away. Oh, giving veterans benefits, but still seeing a rise in suicide. Correlation is not causation, you idiot.
And worse, it means not enough is being done. This actually means the exact opposite of what he's saying. Suicide rates have increased relative to comparable non-veterans. That should be a clue that we need to actually do fucking more, not less. If suicide rates have increased along with the previous increase in benefits, it means it's not enough. It means these veterans are not getting enough of what they... Shit! Yeah. Suck! It means they're not getting enough of what they need! If the rate's rolling up, we're not doing enough!
Cheer 100. Throw this guy into Iraq or Afghanistan. He wouldn't last an hour.
Why is this not obvious? It should be fucking obvious. If the rate is getting higher, not enough is being done. How is this? This is so fucking obvious, and how is it fucking idiot? Just blind to this. It's like deliberately blind to it. Look, there. What? Oh, damn it.
Ember is crying. Quick, Iron Mouse is on. Let's get her in here to cheer Ember up.
I'm crying because I'm so fucking angry about this. I'm crying. I'm so goddamn angry about this. Okay. Alright, let's keep going, because I know I'm gonna get even more pissed off.
To comparable non-veterans. We're comparing non-veterans and veterans.
No. You gotta jump this again.
Giving veterans benefits, but still seeing a rise in suicide. Correlation is not causation, you idiots. Oh, we're giving them more money, but that doesn't slow down the suicides. Better take away the money. That's right, take away the money. Add the financial stress back onto those guys that are already just a fucking hair short of pulling the trigger on their head. See how that shoots right up and makes things worse? What robot retards with zero human emotions wrote this? I'm gonna go off on a little tangent here, all right? You wanna make veterans feel better? Hey, SecDef!
Ember dear, gives hug people with sense understand. However, these college-educated libtards don't know how to actually feel or express empathy. Cheer 100.
They don't. No, they know how to feel. They know how to feel fucking selfish. That's how they know how to feel. This article is written out of pure fucking selfishness. It's saying, why are we giving money to veterans? We should be giving money to people like me. Not the veterans who actually gave, a huge chunk of their lives, their mental well-being, their physical well-being for the country. Fuck them! Give me the money instead. That's what this motherfucker is saying.
Hey Seth, new guy, talking right at ya. You seem to be a fan of the thing that I'm about to talk about, so let's...
Wait, he said the name. I want to hear that.
All right,
Into fire pit they go.
Thank you, Sniper Bait. Thank you. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not responding to that like I should, but he said a name. I want to hear this fucking name.
Want to make veterans feel better? Hey, SecDef! Hey,
Oh, he was saying SecDef. Oh, I thought... He was saying SecDef. Okay. I thought he was saying a name. It just, like... I'm so fucked up right now. I thought he was actually giving a name, not referring to Secretary of Defense. Okay.
Seth, new guy, talking right at ya. You seem to be a fan of the thing that I'm about to talk about, so let's make this go. How about psilocybin? How about ibogaine treatments? You got veterans that are going down to Mexico with severe PTSD TBIs and saying, hey, the United States won't allow us to use ibogaine or mushrooms or psilocybin, etc. in order to combat our PTSD, and studies show that it fucking works. I happen to know a handful of guys that are fantastic and better men because of it. Oh, but we can't do that. Can't do that. If you want to stop fixing us by throwing money at us, then allow us to fix ourselves by allowing us to use some new, upcoming, maybe controversial medical treatments. Ooh, it's so controversial to give the guy who wants to kill himself some mushrooms to make himself happy. Oh. Now, this is the part of the story where these guys are dumb. All right. Where
oh God.
It pays to be a weirdo.
And Shadows and Angles, you guys are welcome. You guys are very welcome. Oh, always. You're welcome. Hey.
And follow me on the interwebs because I've touched on this exact topic that these idiots who wrote this article are about to touch on. Join me. To rein in costs and focus the department's mission, policymakers could take a page from the Congressional Budget Office's recommendations. The nonpartisan scorekeeper advises narrowing eligibility for disability compensation to veterans with severe connected conditions, lowering benefits for some veterans, and introducing a means test. Boom! Stop it right there. This video. I don't care if you don't come back. If you go to this video right here, I break down, there's 3 separate articles from the Congressional Budget Office, and specifically the means test. Watch that. Come on back, watch it. I'll pause, I'll wait. Did you click it? Are you back now? Fantastic.
We haven't watched that, chat. We may watch that another day. Keep it in your pocket. If one of you guys want to throw in any suggestions, we can watch that on another day. Obviously not today because we'll be doing this forever, and I can only cry so much in one day.
If you didn't, quickly, a means test is this. Let's say that the United States government now says if you make over $150,000 in your household, you will no longer receive your disability benefits. That's right.
Okay.
If you make too much money and are successful in your household, meaning your wife could be loaded and you could just be a guy on the couch with no legs, they'll take away your disability compensation, your disability benefits. And here's how they do it. They say, hey, we'll start taking away your money at $100,000. And then once you hit $150,000 in household income, then 100% of your disability is gone. So from 0 to $100,000, you get all that $48,000 if you're at 100% disability annually. But if you are at $100,002, then they will take $1 of your benefits away. And you know, $10, they take $5, $20, they take $10, all the way up until you hit $150,000, and then you've got no benefits left. That's right. If you make more money, you're no longer disabled. Somehow, in the eyes.
And can I also point out, it's household income. It's not personal income. That's the $150,000. So in his example, the wife is loaded and makes $150,000. You do not make anything. Do the people that make this decision not realize how fucking high divorce rates are with disabled veterans, particularly veterans that have mental health issues like PTSD? So for a brief time, they're gonna take away their disability benefits because their spouse or their partner makes a great deal of money. But if that suddenly snap of a finger goes away, do you think they're just gonna start that money back up again for that veteran? You think it's just gonna restart again? Fuck no. That veteran is going to have to go through all of those hoops again. Spend years fighting that system again just to get that $4,000 a month. And in the meantime, they'll have nothing. Think about that.
Is of the Congressional Budget Office. So you, with your no legs at $150,000 for your home, your household, yeah, you don't get any of those benefits anymore for still being wounded. And there's more, like they take away your Social Security and they take away other things. Watch the video. I go through it in its entirety. Reducing payments to former soldiers will never be popular, but it would be wise.
I'm not veteran, but I am disabled and I would love to work, but no one will hire me because of my prosthetic legs, so I make do with $943 a month from SSI and $122 a month in food stamps.
God, Iron Balls. Nobody will hire you well, that's... But again, that they have no problem paying $10,000 for a bag of fucking washers. Like, seriously. Fucking seriously. At this point, the actual fuck.
Oh, no, it would not. No, it would not. If soldiers sign up and the federal government says, you get this if you sign up, and then the federal government changes its mind well after you've already signed the contract and made the deal, well, then that's how you get a bonus army. And if you don't know what a bonus army is...
You gonna learn today.
I know what a bonus army is. Oh, okay, no. I'm sorry, let me rephrase. I think I know what a bonus army is. which I suspect what he's about to say is that a bonus army is basically where recruiters entice people to join the army by saying you'll get an X amount of dollar bonus for joining the army. I could be wrong. It could be something entirely different, but I think that's the route that he's aiming on this one.
World War I, guys are supposed to get some benefits. They said, hey, we're super poor. We would like to turn our certificates in to get our benefits a little early. Congress said, we can vote on that. That sounds good. And then the president and General MacArthur got an army together and pushed them all out of D.C., setting fire and burning to all their peaceful protesters, by the way, that just had an encampment. They were all World War I veterans. Isn't that nice?
God.
Don't let the government do it to us. I'm telling you right now, don't you dare let the government take our away and then roll over. That ain't gonna happen. You thought January 6th was bad. Wait until the dudes with funny hats show up on your doorstep. And of course, the line that they end with, America's veteran obsession has gone too far. Wow, I didn't know that.
There's an ending line for this fuckstick. Go and fuck yourself. America's obsession with dog shit junk journalism has gone too far. How about that? 'Cause guess what? The country needs its veterans. It doesn't need bullshit journalists like you. And Johnny, thank you for 5 months in advance. Thank you so much.
Keeping up your side of the bargain was an obsession. What was that, veteran? You want the medical benefits that you signed up for that I promised you? Oh, gross.
Why are you so obsessed with me?
How f***ing out of touch. How
Sorry, I was distracted. I didn't see what that said.
you? Oh, gross.
Why are you so obsessed
Grown-ass men at the econ... God.
with me?
How f***ing out of touch. How tone deaf are you? Recruiting
Or, I'm
for the
not
United
sure.
States military, all volunteer service, by the way. Big ups. Is at an all-time low right now. Thanks, current administration. Really helped us out on that one.
You're welcome.
Thousands of service members with combat experience.
Okay, chat, did you get that one? Did you get the reference here? And we watched the video on this. I don't know how many of you guys were here when we watched the video on this. That the Army paid like $13 million to Dwayne Johnson to do some bullshit Instagram posts to promote the Army and reneged on like half of them. That's the reference. We watched the video. It's on the channel. My reaction is on the channel. About it, if you're curious. He basically, the U.S. Army thought tapping him to be like a quasi-spokesperson for the U.S. Army, was a good idea. They were going to pay him $13 million for something like 6 Instagram posts, and he did like 2 or 3 and stopped. That was a decision that the United States Army made. Go watch. I reacted to it.
Were kicked out, some with dishonorable discharges, because they refused to get the COVID-19 vax. Oh, and I'm looking at you, generals, for doing absolutely nothing for your troops. And now, people are saying we should take away the things that we promised you after we gave you zero choice on when you signed up, whether you were going to go to war or not. By the way, not a great pullout in Afghanistan. By the way, no WMDs in Iraq. And wow, what a cesspool that place has become. Got rid of Saddam Hussein, and now Iran's got nobody to check their power to battle on the border with. And they're just doing whatever the hell they want. So we have to pay for everybody's poor decision making. No. That's not how this is going to work. All we've got are us, veterans. That's it. We're the only ones that know. The rest, everybody else, we have to hold accountable to their standards. The one that they said we had to sign to and we both agreed to. When we signed our name on the dotted line and they said, we're going to give you this, you can bet your fucking ass that we're going to hold their feet to the fire the second they second guess giving us what we agreed on. And no. That's not an obsession. That's called integrity. That's called doing the right thing. The last
It's called doing what you promised you would do. It's not even doing the right thing. It's sticking to your fucking word. And, Kanito, you beat me to it. It's giving these people what they fucking earned. Through blood and through giving their lives. They fucking earned this shit. You damn well fucking better give it to them. There is no middle ground. None. If they're gonna give their sweat, their blood, and their lives for the country, based on where you tell them to go, you bet your fucking ass you take care of them. And there's no middle ground on it. There's no, oh, well, what about? No. You fucking do it because it must be done. Simple as that. No wiggle room.
Last thing that anybody who's signing up voluntarily to serve their country wants to think about in the back of their mind is, ooh, am I gonna get screwed over? Are they gonna renege on something? Ooh! Now, The Economist usually posts articles in anonymity. That means you don't know who wrote it. Everybody can kind of write freely, not get any backlash, and people can talk about it. But what they failed to do is remove individuals' profile pictures from the website when they send out email updates. Well, what do you know? Y'all forgot to...
Yes. Here we go.
include the author's name, so let me help you out. It's As Dommage. As Dommage. Your ass...
Hang on. Hang on. And this guy is gonna try and talk about the war. Interesting. He's hiding. Writing about economics, formerly macro and development research at the Kennedy School, personal views, and he's hiding his posts. Oh, you know he caught a shit ton of backlash. You know every single fucking veteran added the fuck out of him the minute this came out. And he went into fucking hiding, like the little bitch that he is. 'Cause he knows he can't actually back up what he said. And this is gonna dovetail into what I have to say shortly.
Wow. It's As Dommage. As Dommage. Your ass is about to be demolished. But bam! You put this f***ing moron's face on the article. So hey, here's the guy, here's his Twitter, here's the Economist Twitter. You feel free to go to their Twitter or go to their website, send them an email, make a little tweet, let them know how you feel about this. What's that? Do I hear task and purpose sounding off? What do they gotta say? Hey, The Economist, is this you? American veterans now receive absurdly generous benefits. February 20th, 2003. Why war would be justified. Saddam Hussein must be disarmed. If
Interesting. Interesting little dichotomy there. The Economist, from the safety of their cozy little offices, was all for throwing whatever soldiers are necessary at Saddam Hussein. Fuck yeah, send these boys to war. Fuck yeah, there are tools, right? We can just use them like tools, right? Oh wait, they want us to take care of them after all that shit? Why? Why should we help the poors? They're just tools, right? Right? Yeah, Tanashi, it very likely is a different owner, but this is the mindset. Because you know what? If there was a modern day, because let's face it, right now we do not have a figurehead in the modern day to point to and say this person needs to be stopped. We don't have one of those. Oh God, since since Osama was taken down. Ever since Osama was taken down, there's not a figurehead. Well, no, Zep, I'm talking about like in an active war zone where the United States can actually throw troops at. They're not going to do it in Russia, and they're not going to do it in North Korea. North Korea's got soldiers there, but it's not a war situation. The United States as a country does not have a figurehead in basically the Middle East. I mean, it's basically what we're talking about here. There's not a figurehead in the Middle East that we can point to and basically use that as sort of like the picture to show the quote-unquote enemy, like we did with Saddam Hussein and like what we did with Osama bin Laden. We don't have that. And so, if, I guarantee you, if there was that figurehead that we could point to and say, that's the person that is causing all the trouble, or at least pretend like it's the person causing all the trouble, I guarantee you, this guy would have no problem saying we should throw troops at this guy. I guarantee you, he would, in a heartbeat, from his cozy little, wherever the fuck the Economist operates out of, from his cozy little office, would have zero problem saying throw as many soldiers, marines, sailors, or airmen at this guy to take him down. While also completely ignoring the fact that war actually causes some seriously fucked up shit, and that people do not walk away from it unscathed.
If necessary, it should be done by force. Ready to put us in harm's way until it's your turn to foot the bill. I see how it is. Let's listen to some of the people that also read the article. Looks like my application for an additional 10% has crippled the economy. Good for me. Perhaps our politicians should consider the economic impact of disabled veterans before they engage in future wars, especially if they want to engage in 20 plus years of continuous war. I'm surprised the differently able haven't picked up arms over this article as well. The insinuation is that the veterans aren't continuing in the workforce because of their disability, just that they're lazy. Thanks.
Yep.
I'd like to drop this guy in the middle of the war zone and see him try to survive like soldiers are trained to do.
No, Cobra, I've got a better one. Like I said, I'm letting it cook. We've only got 1 minute left.
Aren't continuing in the workforce because of their disability, just that they're lazy. Thanks, Alex. You're a piece of shit. Best way to support the channel is get yourself a shirt. Look at that. I got shirts. They're cool. Check them out. You got new ones every month just about now because it's what I like. Cheapest way to support the channel is leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me what you think. Huh? Is this great? Is The Economist just like the smartest magazine you ever heard of in your life? See you next time, weirdos. Oh, hey, it's Black Friday. I'm wearing a black shirt. So, Christmas is coming up. Christmas. Code Christmas. 20% off Angry Cop Store. Everything on there. Christmas. Use the code Christmas. It's there. It's for Christmas.
Cheer 100 for everyone in chat and YouTube comments who served. Thank you for your service. Sorry I can't do more for you.
Thanks, Zeb. Okay. I've let it cook. So I was waiting to see if angry cops gonna say something like this. This is someone who will never say what he put in the article to an actual veteran. Remember this. This is someone who writes that basically all the veteran, all the veteran worship, and we should take away veterans' money because most of them are faking and everything else. He will never actually say to a veteran. He'll say it in his article. He might say it in some tweets. He'll say it in his little echo chamber of cocktail parties with like-minded pieces of shit that also don't give a fuck about the military and everything that the military has sacrificed. He will not say it to a veteran's face. Do you know why he won't say it to a veteran's face? And no, it's not because the veteran will actually cause him physical harm. Not in the slightest. It's because if he says something like, no, Hefe, no, it's not because of that. It's not. You know why he won't say it to a veteran's face? Because a veteran will school his ass on what reality is in 2.5 seconds. Without violence. He will turn this guy into a blubbering child, explaining to him the horrors he went through in war, and the scars, and the amputations, and the mental damage that he came away from it with. In detail. And then say, and you still think they should take away my fucking money? That is why he won't say it to a veteran. 'Cause he's not smart enough to outwit an actual disabled veteran. They would school his ass. And he probably would never, and his weak ass, lily white, fucking pampered ass would never be able to recover because unlike these veterans, he's never actually experienced what it means to go through hell and come out the other side. So simply challenging his version of reality would be utterly debilitating, and he would never be able to function again. That's why he won't say it to a veteran's face. Because he's a weak-willed little pussy.